Hey guys, welcome back. It's Barry. I recently had an experience that made me think I really need to do a product review video for you guys. And so in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about everyday carry, some of the little tools that I carry with me every day that I find tremendously useful. So the first one is a pocket screwdriver, and this is a thin piece of metal, just like this, that goes in your keychain. And it is a Sears pocket screwdriver. You can get this on Amazon for about $6 or $7. I've had this one for years, and I can't tell you how many times it's proven useful to have a little screwdriver in your pocket to tighten up something that you encounter along the way. And it's super small, super thin. It just drops right on your keychain. Not even aware that it's there, but you're well aware of it when you need it. So that's been a good one for me. The other one, which is probably pretty obvious, is a pocket knife. And you can spend a lot of money on a knife. It's easy to spend $100 on a good pocket knife. And I used to carry a real expensive knife around, and I had a couple of episodes where it would fall off of me, and later in the evening I found it, fortunately. And those episodes made me think, I don't want to carry a really expensive knife around, because if I would lose it, it would be kind of heartbreaking. And so I thought it would make more sense to carry a less expensive tool that if I beat it up in its use, if I lose it, well, I won't be happy, but it won't be tragic either. And if I have a really fancy knife, I'm probably not going to be too inclined to use it in, the situations where I really need to use it. And so I decided to seek out a less expensive knife than the one I was carrying. And so I chose this one right here, which is a Camillus Pristine. And this is a super nice knife. I think that its build quality is excellent. It has Japanese super steel for its blade, so it maintains an edge for a long time. Really nice knife. And so then after carrying that for a little while, I thought, boy, this is a really nice knife. I hate to lose it. So I decided to get another knife. Now this one here is made by Guidesman, which is a brand from Menards. And Menards is a Midwest home improvement chain, somewhat in the same market space as Home Depot or Lowe's. And it's a house brand of Menards. And this is a Guidesman Cascade, this one right here. Now this is a stainless steel blade. It's nothing fancy. And as you can see, it's a pretty small knife. It's very compact. And it's only about $10. And I have found in my experience, there's no need to carry a big knife. I'm not going to Australia. I don't have to skin a bear on the side of the road very often. And mostly I'm just opening boxes, cutting tie straps, removing tape off of something. And for that, a smaller knife, it works just as well as the big knife. And I can clip this on me, and I'm hardly even aware that it's there. It's an aluminum frame, stainless steel blade. It's the Guidesman Cascade. And this is what inspired me to do the video that you're seeing now, because I've had this knife for a few years, and I carry it every day. And a couple of years ago, I dropped it in the front yard. Couldn't find it. And then the springtime came along, and the snow melted, and I found it sitting in the yard. It's been sitting in there underneath the snow all winter long. And I picked it up, cleaned it off, and it's good as new. And then this last winter, I was snow blowing in the driveway, and the same thing happened. I came inside, and the knife was gone. I thought, oh, darn, I dropped it while I was outside clearing the driveway. And I looked all over, and I couldn't find it until springtime came along. And once again, I found it at the edge of the driveway, and it was caked in mud. So I rinsed all the mud off of it, sprayed a little bit of oil on it, and there's not a spot of rust, and it works just as good as new. And you can see it's got a few little dings from its usage over the years. But it's in good shape. It works great. It's still nice and solid. $10, my friends. What a deal. So this has been a really good companion of mine for really cheap. And I can hardly recommend it enough. The Guidesman Cascade. Now I know it's not a fancy knife. It doesn't have any kind of fancy materials, and it's just a stainless steel blade. But it's been a good companion of mine. It works really well, so I recommend that one. The other tool that I probably use more than anything else is a LED flashlight. And this here is another Guidesman brand product. And just like the knife, I used to carry a really expensive LED flashlight around, and I had the same thoughts, thinking, oh, I'd hate to see anything happen to this because it's so nice and so expensive, and so I should probably try to choose something that is effective but not quite so expensive. So once again at Menards, I picked up a Guidesman flashlight, and one of my main criterias for an LED flashlight is one that uses standard AA batteries, like these guys, standard AA. And the reason I do that is because I use my flashlight a whole lot. I use it almost every day. And so I'd be going through a lot of batteries, except that these are rechargeable. And so I have some good quality rechargeable batteries and a good rechargeable battery charger, and that way I always have fresh batteries available, and it makes the cost of operation pretty cheap. I know there are lights out there that use things like CR123s that probably pack more energy in the space, but the rechargeable batteries are so much less expensive to operate. So a flashlight that uses AA batteries is a requirement for me. And I had another Guidesman flashlight, pretty similar to this one, a 2 AA battery flashlight, that I used a lot, used it all the time. And after a few years, I was working at a show, and I dropped it on the stage, and it died. Now, I've dropped it many times into harder surfaces and that, and it's always been fine, but this day, it just died. And so I brought it back to Menards, and after having a brief conversation with the store manager, they agreed to replace it free of charge because there is a lifetime warranty on those products. And at least in my case, I didn't need a receipt or anything. I just said, this thing's got a lifetime warranty. I'm bringing it back. I want you to give me a new one. And they did. And of course, at that time, it was a discontinued model, so they gave me one that was as close to equivalency as possible. And so because of the warranty, because it's worked so well, I once again highly recommend this product. This one in particular has an adjustable beam. It has a really pretty severe lens in the front of it, which provides for a very even light pattern without any hot spots in the middle, and I find that really useful. And it's not a super bright LED flashlight. This one's 140, 150 lumens, so in some cases, I've wished it was a little brighter if I'm looking for something far away, like I hear an animal on the other side of the property I'm looking for. But most of my time, I'm using this flashlight to do things like just light up the sidewalk in front of me as I'm walking, light up where I'm trying to get the key in the door. If I'm behind some piece of equipment and it's dark back there and I'm trying to get things connected or disconnected, it works just really well for that. And because of its wide beam spread pattern, it lights up the area nice and evenly, and it's really usable light. It's adjustable in its beam width if you just pull the head back and forth. So great product. Now, I know you can get brighter lights, but of course, if you get a brighter light, you'll probably get less battery life. So I find this to be a really great compromise. It's about $15 at Menards. Now, I'm not saying these are the best and only choices you should pursue, but they've worked really well for me, and so I just wanted to pass on that tip for you. I would also add that I don't consider any of these things to be defense tools. I mean, this little knife right here is pretty sharp, and I hate to be cut by it, but if somebody was a determined attacker, I don't think that this is really an effective weapon in that situation. And same thing for the flashlight. I mean, I suppose you could shine it in somebody's face in a dark situation and maybe cause them a little bit of temporary blindness to get you away, but I certainly wouldn't bet on that, especially if you're facing multiple attackers. So I don't consider any of these things to be defense tools at all, but I do think that they're extremely useful for your day-to-day goings and for taking care of the little issues that you bump into on a regular basis. So I hope those tips are useful to you. I'll put links below in the description to these products in case you're interested. And like I say, there's lots of products that are in this category that probably work just fine for you, but these here have worked really well for me, and I've been impressed by the value and the quality and the support that I've received from the Guidesman tools at Menards. And so if you're in the Midwest area and you have a Menards, I think that's a great option. Otherwise, I'm sure that there's lots of choices that would be just perfect for you. So if you're not carrying around a flashlight and a knife, I would suggest it. But your mileage may vary and your lifestyle may vary, but it works for me. So hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you come back and see more. To make that easy, please subscribe. You can just hit the button down there and hit subscribe. And if you do that, I'd also suggest that you hit the bell icon, which will inform you of new content when it comes along. So have a great day, have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon.